One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
It is a beautiful Topless Taco Tuesday morning. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Hopefully you're all enjoying yourselves. I definitely know that we are. Great to see everyone, man. We got a lot to discuss. Today is a big day in the world of geopolitics. That's for damn sure. So Trump-Iran deadline looms. That's happening tonight, I believe at like 8 or 9. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, I think. Kitty, get down. Get down. Get down. You're not allowed up there. I saw you back there. Anyways, and then we have Strait of Hormuz crisis, as well as Vance in Hungary. Hungary? Yeah, right, Hungary. And then Artemis 2 and more. So, of course, we've got a fuck ton for you guys. We're not going to really talk about Vance today, just so you guys know he's over there. But nonetheless, we're going to be discussing, let me give you guys like the total chronological timeline here. Trump military leaders provide update on airmen rescue and operation. And then, of course, Trump also takes questions after that. And then Trump speaks to Artemis 2 crew on board the Orion spacecraft. So he actually was able to make contact, and I guess he made a video for them. And they're all watching it. I don't know if it's a live stream or a live interview, but we'll see what happens. Then we have Middle East latest. Trump threatens to hit Iran's infrastructure as deadline nears. As you guys already know, we reported that basically yesterday. It's just them talking about it kind of again. Trump on Iran, quote, whole civilization will die tonight. Dozens of targets hit overnight. So it says, and this is just came out 2 hours ago, by the way. President Trump is issuing new threats to Iran at the 8 p.m. deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Looms and targets were struck in Iran's Karg Island overnight. Wow, they hit Karg Island. In a new Truth Social post, the president said, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Definitely interesting. It's getting, it looks crazy. And they're talking about, well, if Iran doesn't make this deal, this is what's going to happen. Well, we have news already that Iran has rejected that ceasefire as Trump's deadline looms. This came out 33 minutes ago. Iran showed no sign of agreeing to the United States President Donald Trump's ultimatum to open the Strait of Hormuz by the end of Tuesday or face bombing of civilian infrastructure. Holy shit. And then we definitely have something odd that's happening over there in California. As you guys know, that there's been a lot of wildfires over there, specifically in Southern California in the Riverside area. Suspected arson sparks massive warehouse fire in California. So we have a lot to discuss this morning. Let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and then we'll get like right into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button and double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate your guys' engagement, as well as hit that subscribe button, man. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and then of course members only on Saturday morning, man. Now, talking about members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as be, have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members, man. A little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And also, we have a Discord server for all of you legends. As you guys know, we only live stream for about an hour per day, and we're not able to cover everything in the breaking moments. But in the Discord server, I definitely let you guys know, like, anytime there's some breaking news or any of that shit, or you guys want to continue the conversation after the show. Video description down below, there will be an invite link for the Discord, so make sure you guys join up. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen, and at any time you guys can donate to them, and I get 100% of the proceeds, as well as I will read out your chat, just like, well, your donation, just like a super chat. I've got my email up. I'm ready and scanning always. All right, real quick, I got to give a special shout out. We got Sterling Will gifting out a membership to start this off. First, he said, get you guys his own memberships. And then he said, just kidding, I'll give you guys one. And then Sterling also coming in with the 420, saying, from the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. That's a fact, brother. That's a fact. I very much appreciate the contribution there, kind sir. It definitely goes a long way. All right, let's go ahead and say hi to a few people, and then we're going to get right into the craziness, man. We got a lot going on here. We got Sterling Wheel as well as Jimmy Mack and Naomi. Good morning to you guys. Great to see you all in here, by the way. We got Gary as well as Prez. Good morning to you guys. We got Pitbull over there in the UK. So good afternoon to you. We got Cameron in the building as well as Charlie Rose. Good morning to you guys. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. And we got Wicked Wally, my man. Absolutely. We got Charles Darwin from Down Under. Always appreciate my man, as well as American Uncensored. Thank you all for being here. We got Lappy as well. And Lick It Up with Poncho, my man. Great to see you guys. We got Robert in the building. Shout out to you. And by the way, I got to give a very, very special shout out to the coffee crew, Motobomb Virginia, Carney Vanguard, Sick Bastard. You guys all rated me this morning, so I very much appreciate that. Thank you guys for the support. You guys are awesome that way, man. We got Steve Easy as well, man. Good morning to you, as well as Brother Dean over there in Israel. Great to see you in the chat, bro. We got Miss Lotus as well as Roland, my brother Dean. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you guys. We're scrolling down as fast as I possibly can. No. Great to see you in the chat as well as Sick Bastard. Yes, sir. That's facts. That's facts. We're rolling down. We got Johnny Reno. Shout out to my man as well. And double tap that screen, as Steve Easy says. That's a fact, by the way. We're rolling on down. We got Virginia Chaos as well, my man. Good morning. All right, let's go ahead and get into the craziness. We're going to go ahead and discuss basically what happened yesterday when we got off the show. They did this at 12 p.m. my time, I think. Yes, 12 p.m. my time, which was 1 p.m. Eastern. I was already off the show by then, so I wasn't able to present this. So we're going to play a little bit of this. We'll go ahead and see what Trump's got to say. And then we got Trump speaks to the Artemis 2 crew on board the Orion spacecraft after this. So it's kind of an interesting developments happening.
Let's listen in.
And we're going to speed them up, by the way, because they're always a little slow.
Well, it's a great honor to be with you, and happy Easter. We had a great Easter. This is one of our better Easters, I think, in a lot of different ways. I can say militarily, it's been one of the best. So, good afternoon. We have quite a bit to discuss. We'll go into pretty good detail. And we have the people that are most involved. We'll give you exactitude. And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most...
What's up, Wildcard, as well? Good morning and happy Topless Taco Tuesday to all of you legends, by the way.
harrowing combat searches. I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission. ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are
fact.
knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that one or two. And in this case, we did two, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent. We got a little luck too, I would say. And
That's right, Moto. Very much appreciate you, bro.
helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books late.
That's a very interesting observation there, Sterling. Definitely. I mean, he's in his 80s, too. I mean, all these fucking guys, they're all fucking silent generation motherfuckers.
Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision.
Now, by the way, yes, the Pentagon and the United States military does a very good job of no man left behind, right? And so, believe it or not, we actually showed the step-by-step of the breakdown of the actual rescue mission. We did that yesterday at the top of the hour, so make sure you guys go back to yesterday's live stream to get that reference of how the breakdown was. I mean, literally, what equipment was used, what was damaged, and how it happened. So,
because we could have ended up with 100 dead as
what's up, TVT up there in Canada? Shout out to my man. Good morning to you.
opposed to one or two. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do
Hell
it.
yeah, Steve Easy. Be safe out there. And we got Biker Babe up in the building as well. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages.
Yes, there was a big ambush on the original rescue mission.
And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close.
That's true.
The most powerful military anywhere in the world by far.
But we already know that part.
The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took
What's up, Tiffany? Good morning to you.
extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that when you look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, shit was shot down. There was a whole bunch of shit that happened there. They actually took out a helicopter even out of the two helicopters that they had, and had to run on the ground from the downed helicopter to the other helicopter, and then they were overweight. And so they were barely able to get over the mountain.
Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer, highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast.
Yo, my man Pop's coming in with the membership, by the way. Very much appreciate that. And welcome to the IWF crew, man. I very much appreciate it. Let's get it. In the specific breakfast club. I very much appreciate you, bro. Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you and Mountain Woman are doing phenomenal.
He was injured quite badly and stranded in an
Quick
area
shoot, good morning.
teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities, many on top of everything else.
Why do we hear someone making a phone call in the background? Like, what the fuck? Who's making a phone call right now?
They told the communities actually within inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As soon as anything goes down, the Iranians or anybody is going to follow what they just shot down. They're not going to just shoot it down and then not investigate, not go check it out. They're definitely going to see if anyone survived and get ready, because everybody knows that the military, the U.S. military, is a no man left behind situation. So what they'll end up doing oftentimes is they'll actually even see the person that crashed, and they won't attack him. They'll wait. They'll sit there and wait because they know that there's going to be a rescue mission. And so when that rescue mission comes, then you can ambush that rescue mission. And that's exactly verbatim what happened. Once they downed the other helicopter, they downed another jet. Once that happened, the major plane that was up above them on this operation called in an airstrike on the exact spot that the ambush was coming from and got them. So anyways, it was pretty incredible.
And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher.
MAGA channel. Jesus Christ. No, this is an American channel.
The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find. This second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a...
Real quick, we got over 121 people in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button and double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it. You guys don't have to love all the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you guys for that.
Breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force. America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapons system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes that carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand, so we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane, and then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes, and they got pretty well bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes, and we blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So
we're just going to allow Trump to finish his monologue on this, and then we'll move on.
We didn't want anybody to have, we have the best equipment anywhere in the world.
We do have a lot to get through this morning.
Want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up, and we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used, and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes.
Damn, that's pretty fucking impressive.
And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably
I actually didn't know that small fact right there.
powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all three of them in a matter of
Yeah, Robert, the armor on those things are amazing. Got to be honest.
I would say less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these
What's up, Fidel? Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
people.
Good morning.
Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send
What's up, Papa Penguin? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Good morning.
into battle. And the genius, I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got...
Oh, you know what, Gary? I actually did see that. I saw that after the show that we did yesterday, and I saw that there was some leaked info that delayed the rescue. Yes.
bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location. And probably the toughest area of Iran where we'd be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so quick and got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got 15-minute intervals. One load out, one load out. One load out. It happened.
Oh, Cameron, I'm sure that is true. I don't know that to be a fact right now. I can't give you that info, but I can say it's a high probability.
And we
were
watching, and we said that's amazing. In many ways, I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had than the fact that if we would have had a runway or decent soil, but it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single...
Appreciate that, KMT. Great to see you guys in the chat. By the way, hit that like button and double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. You guys don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you guys for your laborious actions. Thank you for that.
One of them, and the talent, the genius, is not even talent, it's genius. It's the whole ball game, every one of them. Now, if you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes, and he lived behind iron doors. There were steel doors, broke them down so quickly, and within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group, incredible. We have incredibly talented people, and if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came out. God was watching us. Well, it was the Easter. We were in Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. It's amazing. Because when you look...
Wow, Charles, that's pretty amazing, actually.
Look at the machinery. They took damage. It tells you, first thing I said is, these are unbelievable machines, how they flew back and not even much of a problem. But these 2 extraordinary rescues, because it was 2, and as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour, and then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker, and talked about...
So there's the confirmation of the leak.
There's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released
Well, who the fuck is missing then?
and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail.
Oh, okay. They didn't want them to announce that so that the Iranians weren't actively looking for that person.
And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do, because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have won.
I appreciate that, Pops. Thank you very much. And by the way, we've got a Cash App. My man, I am super sorry, Virginia Chaos. As always, I'm always slacking. You know what I mean? But we got a lot of shit going on, as you know. Anyway, support Mike and what he does. Time is money. He sends $10 on the Cash App. My man, I very much appreciate that. That goes a long fucking way, my man. Thank you very much for the support. I very much appreciate it, man. All right, let's get back to this.
Rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award. So when you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that the person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long, and I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him
at risk.
Everyone
as well.
now knows that we're going in. Over the past 37 days, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the first manned aircraft downed by the enemy in this entire operation with thousands and thousands of flights. They got lucky. It was a lucky hit. You know, eventually you get lucky. But we got lucky, too, because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we say, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, with wet.
Oh, yeah, Pops, for sure. Rabbit of Chaos. Oh, and Mountain Woman, totally were friends, and still are friends, absolutely.
Crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive, and we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off. And they came in like magic, boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. I'm so impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy.
Hell yeah, no. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you enjoyed the rest of your day. Stay safe out there.
If they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting for a plane. But they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to do. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land. Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand. So I'm so proud of...
What's up, Carrie, over there from Rob's neighbor? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
The people that I have standing up here with me, and many others that work. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically. Jared Kushner. But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing. And I think I'm going to introduce the head of the CIA, and he is a man who, he's central casting, okay? If we cast a movie, he's going to play the head of the CIA. He's one of the few. John Ratcliffe, he did a phenomenal job that night. He did something that I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you want, you can. I'm not sure you're supposed to. I'm not going to talk about it. But the CIA was very responsible for finding this little speck. It's like they used an expression on one of the shows. The general was talking about, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding this pilot.
Let's get the likes up, everybody, just like Naomi says. Let's get the likes up. Hit the like button.
And the CIA was unbelievable. And you may, if you can, you'll talk. It might be classified, in which case I'd have to put him in jail if he talks about it. And I don't want to put him in jail. He doesn't deserve that. So, John, do you want to say a few words? Thank you.
No, we don't need to hear it. That was it. All right, we got his monologue. That's what we needed. All right, we have a little update from the Artemis 2 crew aboard the Orion spacecraft. I guess Trump actually spoke to them. So I don't know if this is like an interview. Well, not like interview, but you know what I mean, where they're talking live. But let's go ahead and see what's going on here.
Administrator Isaacman, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Integrity for a voice check.
Integrity, Jared Isaacman, comm check.
They got it.
Administrator Isaacman, we've got you loud and clear, sir. How us?
That's
I've got
great.
you loud and clear. Artemis 2 crew, we have a very special guest who wanted to be the first person to greet you after your return from the far
So it is going to be a live conversation.
side of the moon. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, it's my honor to introduce the President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Jared, and you are doing a fantastic job. And hello, very special hello to Artemis 2. Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud. We have a lot of things to be proud of lately, but this is there's nothing like what you're doing, circling around the moon for the first time in more than a half a century and breaking the all-time record for the farthest distance from planet Earth. Humans have really never seen anything quite like what you're doing in a manned spacecraft. It's really special. I want to personally salute and congratulate Commander Reed Weissman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. And I also want to thank the entire amazing team at NASA, headed by Jared, who's a very special guy, by the way. And you all made this day possible, and you've really inspired the entire world. Really, everybody's watching. I find it incredible. I just watch you go to the back of the moon, and people haven't been there in a long time, we can say, but it's going to be more and more prevalent because we're going to be doing a lot of traveling, and then you're going to ultimately do the whole big trip to Mars, and that's going to be very exciting. So you look at, we had no astronaut has been to the moon since the days of Apollo program. The Apollo program was also very special, but that was 50 years ago, and at long last, America is back, and America is back in many ways stronger than ever before. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
What's up, Al Patterson? Great to see you in the chat, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well.
The Artemis crew flew in the most powerful rocket NASA has ever made, ever launched, traveled over 250,000 miles, broke the distance record set by the legendary Apollo 13. And America is a frontier nation, and the 4 brave astronauts of Artemis 2 are a modern day, you really are modern day pioneers, all of you. And one of them happens to be a neighbor. You know who that is, right? You have a special person over there, a neighbor, and we like our neighbor. Your mission paved.
What's up, Seymour Cannabis as well? Good morning.
...is a way for America's return to the lunar surface very soon. We're going all out. We're doing everything we can, and it's headed up by Jared. We'll plant our flag once again, and this time we won't just leave footprints. We'll establish a permanent presence on the moon, and we'll push
Be safe, Papa.
on to Mars. That'll be very exciting. I'm waiting for that so much. I'd love to be here, but maybe we won't quite make it in terms of timing, but we will be up in the moon, and that's going to happen soon. So America will be second to none in space and everything else that we're doing, and we will continue to lead the whole thing into the stars, this incredible journey into the stars. So I just wanted, it's an honor to speak to you, and I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you. And tell me, what is the most unforgettable part of this really historic day? The whole world is watching and listening. Please tell me.
President, this call is certainly special to all of us, and we really have a lot of faith in our administrator, Jared Isaacman, who is with you. We appreciate his leadership in NASA and in the international community. We are doing great things, and we are proud to be a part of. I have to tell you, as we came around the near side of the moon, seeing all the sights that we've seen from Earth for all of our lives, but we're seeing them from a different perspective, and then we started to get a glimpse of the and we saw sights, Oriental sights that no human has ever seen before, not even in Apollo, and that was amazing for us. And then the surprise of the day, we just came out of an eclipse where the sun, moon, and the entire dark moon about that big right out the window that we were watching. We could see the corona of the sun, and then we could see the planet train line up, and at Mars, and all of us commented how excited we are to watch this nation and this planet become a 2-planet species.
That is fantastic. You know, I had a decision to make in my first term, and the decision is, what are we going to do at NASA? Are we going to have it be revived, or are we going to close it down? And I had very little hesitation, and it's really great to have somebody like Jared involved.
I like how they're flipping around the microphone and like holding the microphone, well, not holding the microphone and letting gravity do its thing. You know, or low gravity, I should say. Yeah, it's totally fucking interesting to watch this shit.
Because he really makes it much easier for me, but it was not even a question in my own mind. We've spent what we had to do, and then of course we have Space Force, and Space Force is very much related to what you're doing, and that was my baby. That was a very important one, and it'll turn out to be truly one of the most important, I believe, decisions I've ever made. So we're very proud of Space Force, and we're very proud of all of you. Does anybody else have anything to say? A lot of people listening.
They're all looking like, oh shit.
Mr. President, to be here with you speaking about our incredible day today. I think one of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpses of planet Earth again after being out of communication for about 45 minutes. It really just reminds you what a special place we have and how important it is for our nation to lead and not follow in exploring deep space.
I'd like to ask, what was your feeling when you had no communication, zero communication? All of a sudden it was cut off by, obviously, your very special location. What was your feeling?
Yes, they did lose contact for a little bit, and then they regained contact.
When you had no communication? A little bit different, perhaps.
What's up, Abe Dinkus? Great to see you in the chat, bro. It's been a minute. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well.
Yes, Mr. President, it was I said a little prayer, but then I had to keep rolling. I was actually recording scientific observations of the far side of the moon. You know, that is actually the time when we were the farthest and the closest to the moon. And so we were really able to make some of our most detailed observations of the far side of the moon up close. And so we were busy up here working really hard. And I must say, it was actually quite nice.
Did you see a difference, a big difference between the far side of the moon and the near side of the moon? Was there a difference in feel or difference in look? What did you see?
Trump is actually doing a good job interviewing these motherfuckers. That's odd.
Well, Mr. President, we certainly did, and our team really set us up well to understand what they thought we might see. And the gravitational pull of the Earth has had a profound effect on the near side of the moon, changing all those dark mares, those dark patches of the moon you see from Earth. It's very different on the far side. While you see some small patches of those mare in deep craters, it's very much absent on that side, so that's really neat. And while I have the microphone, sir, I just want to thank you on behalf of Canada. The space leadership you spoke of from America truly is extraordinary. I've said this many times before. A nation that leads like that and creates and sets big goals for humanity that brings other countries along with it is truly incredible. And I know that's a very intentional, not a necessary decision, intentional decision to lead by example and to allow other countries like Canada to share our gifts and help you achieve these mutually beneficial goals, like establishing a presence on the moon and eventually going to Mars. And Canadians are so proud to be a part of this program.
I want to hear his response.
I spoke to a very special person, Wayne Gretzky, who I think you know, the great one. And I spoke to your prime minister and many other friends I have in Canada. They are so proud of you. And you have a lot of courage. I'm not sure if they'd want to do that. I'm not even sure if the great one would want to do that, to be honest with you. But you have a lot of courage doing what you're doing, a lot of bravery and a lot of genius. But they're very, very proud of you.
And they're just going to leave it at that. They just give a big thumbs up. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, we got some updates on the Middle East that happened actually at midnight, my time. I'm in Central Standard Time, by the way. Trump threatens to hit Iran's infrastructure as deadline nears. And yes, as you guys know, the timeline that Trump had set, it runs out tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when that happens, I mean, Trump already made a big post about what he's going to do. And it says, quote, whole civilization will die tonight. Dozens of targets hit overnight. Now, that's the follow-up to what I'm about to present. So that came out early this morning, just a few hours ago. It says President Trump is issuing new threats to Iran as the 8 p.m. deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz looms, and targets were struck in Iran's Karg Island overnight. That's that northernmost oil island that they use, where 90% of their shit is like refined and processed and shipped out from. So anyways, so let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll quickly bounce around on the first one because it's more of them talking about it leading up to what actually happened. So let's go ahead and get a little bit from
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. Following the latest out of the White House, President Trump says Iran has until 8 o'clock Tuesday night Eastern time to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial vessels. And he says if Iran does not comply, the U.S. will launch attacks on Iran's power plants and bridges. The president repeated this threat during a press conference at the White House this afternoon. And for more on this, we want to bring in Associated Press reporter Will Weiser. Thank you so much for being here, Will.
Why is she cutting out?
So you were in the White House when this was happening. Give us some of your key takeaways from that lengthy press conference this afternoon.
I really don't need to hear that. I actually don't need to hear that. That is irrelevant to what I need from this whole thing. So I'm just going to cancel out of that. All right, we're going to go ahead and just show because why not? We've got it right here. I'll show you guys what was said or done.
You're watching live now from Fox. Welcome back. We are following some breaking news here after President Trump had issued that 8 p.m. Eastern time deadline here tonight for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He is issuing this warning this morning here, saying a whole civilization will die tonight. If
now, I read this exact quote at the top of us doing the show, by the way.
Deal isn't made to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Let's continue to read this in full. He says, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. So once again, that was from President Trump just moments ago here on Truth Social. But I also wanted to share this post here from Truth Social just the other day from President Trump, as all of this is coming after he gave the Iranian regime until 8 p.m. Eastern time today to agree to a ceasefire that includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz. And here was that post from a few days ago. He says, Tuesday will be power plant day.
I think this only happened a couple of days ago, not a few days ago.
And Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the expletive.
Oh, yeah, because I believe this shit came out Sunday.
Strait, you crazy.
It was on Easter.
Bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. Now, I also wanted to share this here because we're learning this morning as well. The U.S. carried out dozens of strikes against military targets on Iran's Kharg Island late last night and early this morning. That's according to a...
That's a big deal right there. I'm not going to lie.
Senior U.S. official speaking to Fox News. Now, President Trump...
But they still didn't take out oil infrastructure, it said. I mean, it left it out. It says it overnight, including bunkers, radar station, ammunition storage, senior U.S. officials tell. So yeah, they bombed dozens of Iranian military targets. They didn't take out any oil infrastructure.
Floated attacks on the Iranian stronghold last week as his threats over reopening the Strait of Hormuz kicked off. We have this quote here from the official saying U.S. hit dozens of military targets on Kharg Island overnight. Airstrikes pounded Tehran today, and Iranian officials urged young people to form human chains to protect the power plants hours before the expiration of President Trump's deadline for the Islamic Republic.
What's up, Big Dan? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning to you.
President Trump has extended previous deadlines, but suggested the one set for 8 p.m. in Washington was final, leaving Iranians on edge. President Trump threatened to destroy all of Iran's power plants, as we just saw in that Truth Social post, and bridges if Tehran does not allow traffic to fully resume in the strait, through which a fifth of the world's oil transits in peacetime. Iran's president said 14 million people, including himself, have volunteered to fight. While Iran cannot match the sophistication of U.S. and Israeli weaponry or their dominance in the air, its chokehold on the strait is causing major damage to the world economy and raising the pressure on President Trump, both at home and abroad, to find a way out of this standoff. Officials involved in diplomatic efforts said talks were ongoing, but Iran has rejected the latest American proposal, and it was unclear if a deal would come in time ahead of...
Exactly, and that was something that I have queued up that came out literally minutes before we started the live stream, was Iran rejects ceasefire as Trump's deadline looms. Iran showed no sign of agreeing to U.S. President Donald Trump's ultimatum to open the Strait of Hormuz by the end of Tuesday, which is, the 8 p.m. deadline today, or face bombing of civilian infrastructure. Some bullshit. All right. Let's go back to this.
President Trump's threatened attacks. World leaders and experts warn that strikes as destructive as President Trump threatened could constitute a war crime. Once again, if you are just joining us, sharing this here with you as President Trump put this on Truth Social just moments ago at this point. And we've also been sharing here that a wave of strikes hit Iran, including in residential areas of Tehran, killing nearly 36 people. Iran fired on Israel and Saudi Arabia, prompting the temporary closure of a major bridge. Now, in emphasizing this...
That's right, Pops. That's right. Absolutely.
Tuesday deadline, President Trump warned that, quote, the entire country could be taken out in one night. He said every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night. He goes on to say all power plants will be burning, exploding, and never to be used again. This was all in a press conference here from President Trump just yesterday as he spoke. In response, Iran called on all young people, athletes, artists, students, and university students and their professors to form human chains around those power plants. What I wanted to do right now is share some comments here from both President Trump as well as Vice President J.D. Vance. We just heard from the Vice President as he spoke in Hungary moments ago, but he did get a question about Iran. I wanted to share that response here with you right now.
You asked about Carg Island. My understanding, having talked to Pete and General Kane about this, is that we were going to strike some military targets on Carg Island. I believe we have done so. The president's deadline.
Right, and that he's correct on that. It's military targets, not oil infrastructure.
Has been followed by us and everybody else, and he said very clearly, we're not going to strike energy and infrastructure targets until the Iranians either make a proposal that we can get behind or don't make a proposal. But he's given them until Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So I don't think the news in Carg Island represents a change in strategy or represents any change from the President of the United States.
Yeah, when this deadline hits, we're going to hit that next level where it's called all-out war, total war. It's when you start basically attacking the civilians' infrastructure, and you start putting pressure on. Basically, it's a war crime, but that's what happens. Who's gonna? No one is going to enforce war crimes. You know what I mean? We don't recognize the International Criminal Court. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't happen.
He continues to say the deadline is 8 o'clock. And the deadline is for what? Fundamentally, what Iran is trying to do, because they've been defeated militarily.
And by the way, I'm not talking about what is or what ought be. I'm talking about what is, by the way. Just
to extract as much economic pain on the world as possible. And the President of the United States is a man who recognizes leverage. That if the Iranians want to exact a certain amount of pain, the United States has the ability to exact much, much greater pain.
Once again, Vice President Vance there just moments ago as he was answering a reporter question focused on this news that we are sharing with you. As we're learning from Fox News, the U.S. bombs dozens of Iranian military targets on Carg Island overnight, including bunkers, radar station, ammunition storage. This, once again, all according to Fox News. Now, I also shared with you here that President Trump spoke on Iran at a press conference at the White House just yesterday. I wanted to play a 2-minute soundbite here for you now.
Anonymous, just so you know, the last time we went to Congress for any type of war was World War II. So, it's everything else since then has just been labeled an operation. We got Jack Telcott in the building, by the way, who wants to end all wars, and I very much support, by the way. Much love, honor, and respect to you, kind sir. Great to see you in the chat, my man. Good morning.
I can't talk about ceasefire, but I can tell you that we have a active, willing participant on the other side. They would like to be able to make a deal. I can't say any more than that. But they'd like to do it.
Your messaging on the war has moved from the war is coming to an end to we're going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages, and we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So which is it? Are you
No, TVT. None of those went to Congress.
winding this down?
Can't tell you.
Are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this.
Yeah, the whole world is affected, essentially.
But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
This is from yesterday, and he's saying that we're giving them until 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, which is today. All right, we're moving on. We have an interesting story before we get into Iran rejects the ceasefire deal. Suspected arson sparks massive warehouse fire in California. Now, this is kind of crazy, as California is always on, it's always on fire. But there's another big fire that's happening over there in the Riverside area. It's about 3,500 acres, I think, that it got to. And I'm sure, hopefully they got it contained. The last time we reported on it, it was only like 5% contained or whatever. So I'm really hoping that they actually got a grip on that. But that's a side note. This is something different. Let's go ahead and check it out.
You're watching live now from Vox. Welcome back. We continue to follow this story out of California, a massive warehouse fire. And this is one of the live looks that we are getting in here this morning. Now, before the commercial break, we shared with you just some comments here from one of our reporters in Fox LA on the scene as they were.
Yeah, TVT. I'm trying to think of what my age would have been at the time. I'm 30 now, and believe it or not, my birthday is here in a few days. My birthday's on the 11th. So I was born 95. So how old was I?
Speaking to a fireman
I was a kid
there,
too.
providing the latest updates. It was very brief, but I wanted to share this here with you. If you are just joining us, suspected arson sparking this massive fire.
Virginia chaos for Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So that would be 7 p.m. my time and Central Standard Time as the deadline, right?
At an Ontario warehouse. That's about 45 minutes east of Los Angeles. Let's share those comments here with you from our Fox 11 LA team.
Updates more from the deputy chief as well, and keep you posted, of course, throughout the morning on this massive fire right here in Ontario.
Is the fire believed to have started inside this
Why do we have a
warehouse?
pixelated image? Come on, get the image correct, please. That's their side, by the way.
And was it spotted by employees? And
Come
what was
on.
done to evacuate the employees? Because it looks like this fire had spread pretty quickly.
These motherfuckers, come on, get your shit right.
We do know, I believe, that fire did start inside the warehouse as well. But in terms of who reported it first, that's still being looked at, I believe, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Was fire first reported by an employee, or do we know is this residents nearby?
Sure. The Ontario Fire Department received multiple calls reporting the structure fire. The building was occupied at the time of the fire, so there was approximately 20 employees who were here on site, and several of them were calling 911 reporting the fire. In addition to the fire alarm, which activated, and so again, we are notified by the fire alarm company who's monitoring it, so we received multiple calls for service.
And initially there was a report of some.
Yeah, 9/11. Yeah, that makes sense. So 9/11, I was in first grade. Yep, I was in first grade. I remember.
Someone missing, I believe, but that ended up not being the case. Everyone was accounted for, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. Yeah, so originally, because the building was occupied and there was 20 employees here, they did an evacuation, as you would expect. And the original report from them upon our crews arriving is there was one employee who was missing. That employee was located very quickly, and there are no reports of any injuries to civilians or firefighters.
Yeah, it's just a big ordeal. Shit.
Deputy Chief, thank you so much.
I want to get some actual images, though, man. The one image that they showed was bullshit. Okay, now we got a little bit of, oh, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big fire. We're going to see that here in a minute.
Again, one person right now in custody. Again, no public safety threat, but they are warning residents, of course, and advising them to stay out of this area, especially given the smoke and the road closures we have here in Ontario.
One more question, Rachel. Sorry. There was a sprinkler system inside this warehouse, right? So can you ask the chief, like...
It was the weekend before, Naomi.
The sprinkler system was working at the time, but that wasn't sufficient enough to suppress this fire?
Correct. I know earlier you told me, Deputy Chief, that the sprinkler system was working at a time, but clearly you guys are still out here. I'm guessing there's just been a extra
Hell yeah, Pops. That's epic, bro. That's
need
epic.
to really put this fire out.
Yes, so we believe the fire sprinkler system was working at the time. That was the original belief by the first responding firefighters who were on scene. Again, those fire sprinkler systems can only do so much, and the large volume of fire, based on the materials burning inside, obviously was unable to keep the fire under control to allow us enough time to completely...
Sassy, I actually watched it happen. I watched it happen. So it affected me as a kid, for sure.
Distinguish it.
I didn't understand real world consequences and who was doing it. I mean, shit, we didn't even know at the time. We had invaded the wrong place at first anyways.
It did run out of control, and we're going to be here for several more hours continuing to fully investigate or fully extinguish it.
Deputy Chief, thank you so much. And again, they'll be out for quite some time. And again, no injuries to report, but a very long day for these.
Yeah, TVT, believe it or not, I've watched a few gamers that have gone viral or whatever, that like don't have any arms or they use their feet or something like that. It's totally interesting. It's totally cool to watch.
Bruce, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. All right, Rachel.
And once again,
Look at
thank
this.
you to our Fox
This is
11
what I was
Los
waiting for.
Angeles team as you are taking a live look there from our chopper at the scene this morning as crews actively working to put out this massive fire. I believe this is going to zoom back out here for us in a moment. You can really just see the scale of how large this really is.
That's a big one.
A lot of preliminary details here this morning, but we did just want to share with you.
Look at all those trucks in those bays. Damn, bro.
Fox 11 LA team
It's a big
does
area.
know at this moment.
We also have just another vantage point coming in here that I wanted to bring to you before we transition to some other news here this morning. We will continue to monitor these feeds here for you on Live Now from Fox, working to see if we can get any additional information, but that's the latest.
Yeah, that's as big as a total Amazon distribution like warehouse for sure. All right, that's terrible. We're gonna go ahead and go into our last story here. Iran rejects ceasefire as Trump's deadline looms. So this is you know, this came out about 6 minutes, 10 minutes right before we started the live stream this morning. And we've only been live for 55 minutes. But anyway, so this just came out. And let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's go ahead and find it. Oh, and also what we haven't done is embraced fuck-ups yet. We need to do that. What the fuck are we doing? We need to embrace thy fuck-up.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. All right, here we go.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. You are taking a live look there at the White House as we are monitoring.
Damn, ADF. He thought the warehouse fire in California was in Iran. Shit.
Monitoring the latest developments ongoing with that conflict in the Middle East, as well as that deadline that President Trump has given Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Otherwise, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped into one, according to his Truth Social post over the weekend. And talk more about this, we want to bring in our national security expert, Kenneth Gray, with the University of...
Yeah, Sassy, it's, you know, it's totally unfortunate, you know what I mean? Because none of us can control it. And that's the sad part, you know? It's like, man, we're just the civilians here trying to live, you know?
New Haven, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Bo, and glad to be with you.
Extra surprise. Great to see you in the chat, Burrow. Good morning, good morning.
And I just want to get your analysis. Where do you think we stand right now as far as negotiations, as we are just roughly...
Let's see if this guy, Kenneth, here can be factual and not be biased, because respectfully, I report facts, right? Now, this guy has always leaned a certain way, a bias, right? So if he is going to be biased, I'll call it out, but
15 hours away now from that deadline.
So the representatives for the United States, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, have been negotiating with somebody in Iran.
Somebody? No, we ain't talking to fucking nobody. They're not talking to us. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It's not. There's no like negotiations happening, by the way.
Seems to be in a position of power to be able to make these kind of deals. They've been trying to negotiate with them for some time now. And the president, despite his words that saying that he thinks they were making progress on this.
What's up, Yippin? Great to see you, bro. And thank you for that, by the way. Always appreciate you.
Nonetheless, gave a deadline which he has extended now until tonight at 8:30 Eastern time. So this is finally the point where we will see whether or not the Iranians will concede.
They're not going to concede nothing. Nope. They would rather die with honor. You know what I mean? That's what they would rather do.
Basically, totally surrender. The exact terms of the negotiation has not been shared with the public, but among other things, it's to give up their intention of develop nuclear weapons. Same for ballistic missiles. And not to mine the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz...
Naomi, she's talking about Kenneth over here talking right now.
...controls 20% of the world's petroleum.
We already know that, Kenneth. You're on some old-time shit, bro. Fucking take a seat and let guys like me do this shit. Come on, man. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if we got some new stuff here. It looks like we do have a response right here.
Bring in this X post here. This coming from Rapid Response 47. This says President of the United States, quote, "We have a plan because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business. It'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we want it to. We don't want that to happen." Now, looking at this X post, and as well what we mentioned with Iran urging human chains around some of these power plants, what can the U.S. do to ensure that civilians or innocent people aren't injured if strikes were to occur?
So the president all along has been warning the people of Iran, the protesters that were out there that was protesting against the government of Iran.
Yeah, the whole quote unquote reason why we went over there in the first place. You know what I mean? Right. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. To stay indoors.
Because really and truly, the best thing that could have happened is if the Iranian people ended up doing their own revolution, right? That's exactly what Trump wanted, and that's, you know. But anyways, it was all political theater, the whole thing.
And so, especially with the threat of conducting these type of attacks, the Iranian people on their own would not be venturing out and potentially being targets like this. But if the IRGC takes besiege and forces people out of their homes and out around these plants, the United States cannot do anything to stop that type of activity of people being forced into the area and being a human shield like that. But, you know, our president is a master of deception. He may be saying that he's going to target bridges, and in actuality target something else. He may be saying he's going to target the power plants and target something else. You can take out a power grid by taking out transformers as opposed to having to hit the power plant itself. And, you know, critical infrastructure relies upon all components in that critical infrastructure. And so taking out transformers to step up or step down the current, that is as effective as taking out a power plant itself. Transformers like that take years to replace. And so there's no guarantee that when he says he's going to take out power plants, he means the actual power plants themselves and not the power grid.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand what he's getting at there, but either way is a bad decision. You know what I mean? Like, if it were up to me, listen, we wouldn't even be there right now, all right? If it were up to me. But since we are, I just I don't see this as like a win for anybody, you know. It's definitely not in the best interest of Americans and America first. All right, let's go ahead and see if we have any updates here. We do have an update. Let's go ahead and hear what this is about real quick.
Putting this X post back on our screen here, the Department of State. This says President Trump, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran in the past 37 days, striking more than 13,000 targets. It's a record that is...
So that's the update now. We're up to 13,000 targets that have been hit, struck, whatever. And within that 37 days... we've operated, 10,000 combat flights.
Unparalleled in the history of military air operations. And just talking about these 13,000 targets, what does this signify to Iran in even rebuilding their own infrastructure and what the future of the country looks like there?
The United States has air dominance over Iran. They can fly just about anywhere. And
Rick, that would probably most likely be the U.S. taxpayer.
They carry out operations without a risk of, for the most part, most flights. The F-15 that was shot down was one of the few flights that have been shot down by the Iranians. And as the president said, this was a lucky shot on their part. So because we have such air superiority, I should characterize it as air superiority as total air dominance, but pretty much air dominance is in effect here, to where the U.S. is flying over Iran and attacking targets at will. And each flight that is made you can hit more than one target on that flight. So that
No fucking kidding. Kenneth, where? Come on, bro. You slacking. You slacking. You know what? We're done. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. We made it past our hour mark, man. I very much appreciate all of you guys and supporting the show. And listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Listen, stick around. We're going to be doing a raid this morning. Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be raiding our buddy Carney Vanguard. He's live right now. So make sure you guys show him a little love and let him know that we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. Anyways, much love, honor, respect to everybody. God bless to you all. And stay safe out there. Much love. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.